comments. Yeah, so that's what we can do. Okay, let's give us a second. We're doing a live stream again, my friends, so bear with us. And we're back. Woohoo! Yeah! We are on for another show. Happy AM to you. Yes, well AM to you. Yes. I'm Chris Kennedy once again, and this is Coffee with Chris. And this is my turn now to have a conversation with Ronald Onion. And it's going to be a lighthearted one, I'm telling you. After the... we had a couple of dark topics last time, but it's going to be lighthearted for your enjoyment. How are you, Ronald?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you. I'm pleased to be here, too. I'm glad you're pleased to be here. So how are you today?
I'm really well. I'm just going to remind everybody that I'm apologizing in advance if you can't hear me. I have my mask on because I'm following social distance guidelines by the CDC, so that is why Chris and I are a few feet apart from each other instead of normally close together that we usually would be, so bear with us on that, please.
Yeah, Ronald is wanting to adhere by his selection and his choice to the CDC guidelines, regulations, or whatever you call them, keeping few feet apart, at least 3 feet, 6 feet apart, and he's wearing a mask too by his choice. So there you go, there you are. So that's pretty much sums it all. So we are going to talk about we saw some church shows today. We saw Joel Osteen, Charles Stanley, and I think I saw David Jeremiah. I got up late. I'm not sure. I got up late, like 8:30. My body was trying to crank out the kinks. Ronald, how'd you sleep last night? How'd you feel in here?
I felt pretty good. I feel like this is my home away from home, and I wish that we had more time together, but it's a lot. I got a lot of things coming up on my YouTube channel, and
Absolutely.
also the show that I did with Chris yesterday. So it really means a lot to have Chris on the show because we have a lot in common.
Oh yes.
And I will tag his YouTube channel and mine when I upload our interview later today.
Well, it's very kind of you. I appreciate that. Yeah. So, tell us about your Special Olympics and your involvement in that. I think it's wonderful.
Well, thank you very much.
That's wonderful. Yes.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I've been involved with Special Olympics New Jersey now for the last 4 years.
Oh, yes.
This would have been my 5th year competing if it wasn't for COVID. I've always said, my teammates from Bayonne Recreation and my coaches, they wanted me to join Special Olympics earlier, but I've always said no. And the reason why I did was because I wanted to focus on my education. I didn't want to miss a day of school because I felt that if I was missing a day of school, I'll be losing out on the chance to gain the knowledge of something that I haven't learned before. And also, I was also starting out college at that time.
Yes.
And I was only allowed a certain number of absences required by the state.
Yes.
By the state. So for all of you high school seniors who are transitioning into the college life, I'm going to explain that.
Yes.
So if you have a class that meets 3 days a week, for example.
Yes. 3 days a week.
So you're only allowed 2 absences per that class. So so that would be considered 6.
Out of a 5-day week,
6.
Got it.
And if you have a class that meets 2 days a week, that's considered 4 absences.
Oh, gotcha.
So you're only allowed 12. And then after the 7th excused absence or unexcused, they have a right to fail you, and you would have to provide documentation and explain why you were out for these so many days. Unless you got sick, or if you had a doctor's appointment, or you had to get your blood work done, etc., 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 etc.
Yes.
But when I first started Special Olympics, and Chris knows this, he was with me when I first started, I was entering my final semester at St. Peter's University.
St. Peter's in Jersey City, yes.
And I had to make the difficult transition from preparing from one sport to the next. I started practicing for bowling, and then from bowling, I had to prepare for track and field. That was that. I wasn't used to the transition yet.
To track and field.
Yeah. And so I remember I had to be in school by 7 o'clock.
Yes.
At night, and I would have to leave my teammates from practice early just so that I could change clothes, pack my dinner, and then head to class. Because regardless if you're late to class or not, these professors are still getting paid. They still get paid for the job that they do. So, and I respect all educators, especially right now during the time of COVID-19. I always said that the toughest job anyone could ever have is being a parent.
Well, yes.
Being a parent, that is still true. But I'm also going to say being a teacher is also the toughest. Because prior to the pandemic, you were used to seeing your students in the classroom, interacting with them face to face, and now so many families are having a difficult time adjusting to this new normal.
We're accepting it.
Especially if they're a single parent.
Yes.
Or parent, and they have to make that choice between going to work. Because some parents, single parents, Chris, you know this, they go to work during the day.
My mother was single for a long time. Yeah, they go to work.
They go to work during the day, and then they have to go to, and then they have school at night.
Yeah.
To school at night,
and if they share, personally.
And then if they share a computer with their kids, especially if they're only living in one household where there's lack of internet connection or lack of cellular data, they lose everything.
Gotcha.
Everything. So I would have to say, of course, being a teacher is the toughest, but also being a student during this difficult recent time is not easy as well.
Oh, wow.
Because everyone is so used to being around with their friends.
Yes.
With their friends and their fellow peers and helping them out. And now it's like everything's done with the computer. You gotta sign in by a certain time, and then you get a break in between, and then you go back to class. So I really applaud the students who are handling this pandemic really well. But if it was back at the time where we were in school, I don't know how I would handle it.
Neither would I, honestly. I mean, for the educators, it's very disorienting.
Yes, it is. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, and I was going to talk about, you went for your educators or teaching degree.
Yes.
For tutoring or teaching a class.
Yes, when I first started, I'm going to go back, and then I'm going to go to that.
Yeah.
I was attending Hudson County Community College before I met, during the time when I first met Chris.
Yes. It was 2013, 2014.
When I met
John,
Yes, when I started, I should say.
Yes.
I'm going to go back. I'm going to say 2012 was when we first met. I'm going back and then moving forward.
Yeah.
So I was studying education at Hudson County Community College, and I was the vice president of the Teachers Education Club. And I received many awards for my leadership, including the United Way of Hudson County Scholarship for $1,000. I received it for the past 2 years. And when I got the scholarship, the requirement was you had to write an essay. And I wrote a very moving and powerful essay in which I got the scholarship. My final year at Hudson was during Superstorm Sandy.
I remember that.
And
October 2012.
Yes. And so I got the I was one of the recipients of the scholarship. And they had asked me to make a speech. I was very honored to make that speech. And to make that speech,
Yes.
And so I was very honored that my professor, Angela Pack, attended because she was my advisor and she had so much faith in me, and I thank her for what she has taught me as well.
Yeah.
And then a week later was when Superstorm Sandy happened, and we didn't go back to school till after Thanksgiving. So usually we would have the day before Thanksgiving and the day of Thanksgiving off, but because of the timing, we had the day before Thanksgiving, and then we were off on Thanksgiving that Friday, and we came back to school that Monday. And we had to revise the syllabus and everything to make sure that everything was on time and on point. But the biggest lesson that I've learned in college is that we don't have to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance or the National Anthem.
Exactly.
There's only certain times when they do it. Unless if it's a special event like a baseball sporting event, of course you have to do it because it's required. They require that at the sporting events. But at the colleges, they don't do that, except at sporting events, special events, or graduation. Those were the only times that they would stand, do the Pledge of Allegiance. And I've learned so much when I was at Hudson that our history isn't always accurate. I've always asked myself, is everything that we were taught in history alive? Because of everything, of all the books.
Anything related to or associated with it? Oh yes, I think it's definitely a bunch of, I personally want to say that everything was all a fib. Mm-hmm. Well, almost everything was covered up to make it like the propaganda of political, rich.
Absolutely.
Like the American BS, as they call it, yeah. You know what I mean, I'm sure.
Yes. So, so then I'm going to move forward now. When I graduated from St. Peter's University, Chris was with me at the time. My original major was education.
Yes.
But because of my GPA, my grades were going up and down, curving. They decided to change my major so I could graduate on time.
I gotcha.
So my major now, I have a BA in Urban Studies.
Urban Studies.
Which is a bachelor's in arts degree.
That's what you graduated with, right?
Yes.
Oh, very good. We have a comment, and we're going to go to them right now. It's, hi, everybody. How you doing? Good morning, Brian. How you doing? Hi to Melissa Mathers.
Hi, Melissa. She's one of my dearest friends, so I love her.
Awesome.
I love her.
That's good. I'm glad to hear it. Yeah, very good.
A lot of my teammates are probably watching this too, the studio early in the morning. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
your church friends of mine, yeah. Yes.
But we talked about my Special Olympics career. I have to give a very special shout out to all my teammates at Bayonne Recreation, my coaches, and all my teammates. I miss all of you guys so much. I wish that we could be together again soon, and I know that we will be.
Yes,
absolutely. Together again, but I just encourage you, don't just keep living our life normal. Keep living your life. You can't always be down and out and saying that, I remember this, I remember that, which is true because, the memories live on forever.
Yes.
But now during this quarantine, all you have to do is just, enjoy the time you have, and then it's really important. Because we don't have that much time left. So cherish the time with your family and friends, and go out, get a little bit of exercise, but don't forget, you gotta wear the mask. Very important.
Yeah, you want to stay social distant from each other. Ronald, I'm going to relay a message that Melissa's saying. That's right, Ronald for years met him in 2005. Wow, Melissa.
Yeah, we actually went to school together. I met her in grammar school, Washington Community School, back in Bayonne.
Yes.
Back in Bayonne. We graduated together. Our families were really close.
Yes.
Really close. She was actually my prom date, and we had a fabulous time. I will say.
Yes,
And we used to talk
absolutely.
about she and another friend of ours, Maria Melendez, hi Maria, they were obsessed with the Gotti family.
Oh, wow.
Especially Carmine Gotti. Oh,
Absolutely.
I watched it too. She loved her Gotti boys. She loved the Gotti
The
brothers.
Gotti, yeah.
So,
I remember them, yeah.
family, so
I do. Absolutely. Remix, if you're tuning in just now, hi, how you doing? Remix Plum. That's his name, yes, Remix Plum. And yeah, we are giving you a nice surprise. We're doing the coffee chat show just like we've done exactly the same exact way we've done live with Chris Ronald. Chris and Ronald, like 2 or 3 years ago, we're bringing it back to you.
We're going to try to bring it back as much as possible, but
we are.
Much as possible. So, life on track.
Yes,
but I will
absolutely.
say that going back to the pandemic, the biggest lesson that I learned in 2020 is that you can't take life for granted.
Yes.
For granted, and you have to enjoy the time that you have with your family and friends, and you also have to learn about the important things, or what's important and what's not important. So you have to really think.
Oh, Melissa, yeah. Yeah, we have to really think. Oh, yes.
To really think and learn and budget, because times are tough right now for everyone, and I just want to pray for those that have been affected, and to the nearly 300,000 Americans that we have lost. My heart goes out to all of you. I can never understand what this has done for all of you, but we have the vaccine now, and I hope that maybe everyone takes the vaccine, but also do your research and find out if you're not allergic to anything in the vaccine.
Yes.
So that's really important that I want to get across. Do your homework and do your research, but more importantly, do the right thing. Wear the mask, social distance, and get tested. Because you don't know if the people around you have the virus or not. You have to make that assumption.
If it was personally up to me now, I would, myself, I would wait a while for the vaccine. I would wait until the summer, because I want to see what's going to happen with it. What's going to go on, what side effects there may be. Is this really a good thing, and etc. It's a good idea, but it needs to be worked out a lot. But
Yes, it does.
yes, it'll get there, I'm sure. I'm pretty sure it'll get there, yeah. Yeah, so how is everybody out there? We're doing good. And yeah, Mom's gonna get going soon because his ride is arriving.
Well, I still have time to kill, but it won't be arriving yet, so.
Yeah,
I
gotcha.
still have time to kill, but
Yeah.
it's really, we tried planning this out weeks ago, but I knew he was going to be in New York, and I didn't want to take the chance because
Yeah, this late December it was, I think.
late December, yeah, and so
Before Christmas.
yeah.
Hi, Bobby. How are you? Bobby John, we got in.
Oh, I know him. Yeah, he's one of my dearest friends. I've known him for a very long time.
Cool.
Military vet. His family.
Military vet. Wow.
Yeah, his family I admire and respect it. So I love him.
Yes.
And I hope that he's doing okay.
Yes.
And this is I'm good friends with his sister Kristen as well.
Yes.
Who's expecting, and I just hope that she.
Yes. This offense is so the immune system may eat your vegetables and walk a couple miles a week. Yes, cool, Brian. Hi, Bobby. How are you? Good show. Thank you, Bobby. Yeah.
Oh, he was the time.
What's up, gentlemen? Good show.
Thank
Yes,
you.
Brian,
Thank you.
to
Thank you.
us. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
What were you going to say, Ronald? I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I've known him. I went to school with him. I went to school with his sister.
Yes.
And I just hope that Kristen's doing okay. This is a very scary time for everyone right now. And I mean, my best friend, Cassie McConnell, also gave birth last year as well during this pandemic. And it was very scary for her because she told me that they were only allowing one person to be with her in the delivery room. And then, so, it's very scary. I know my cousin's expecting as well. Seeing as well. So this is very scary for everyone. But we just got to remember to thank our first responders and the doctors and the nurses who are fighting this terrible disease. Because right now, we're staying home so that they can go out and fight this virus. That's the most important thing.
Absolutely.
It's the important thing, and they deserve all the love and respect that they get right now.
Yes, Bobby said, Brian Petty.
Oh!
He is your friend.
Yes.
He says, have a good day, Ron. Good content. Thank you, Brian.
Best. I have known...
Brian, you want
yes.
Ronald?
Thank you, Petty. I love and miss you. I have known Brian for a long time also. We actually graduated together. He's one of the members of my local fire department.
Yes.
FC. Shout out to them. I wear their merch all the time. Because the camp that I attend, the Bayonne Ability Day Camp, and the Bayonne Fire Department have had a very special relationship for many years. It started with Al Hurley, the late Al Hurley, Lord rest his soul. He started this tradition with the campers having a big get-together with the firemen every year to let them know that we're with them.
Yes.
And ever since the father passed in 2000, and I'm not sure when the father passed, I have to check. I have to double check. With Molly and Mr. Boulis, I have to double check with them because they know more about this than I do. Because they're like the veterans. The veterans, they grew up with this picnic, but ever since then, Fire Chief Joe Hurley has took over, and ever since then, I've been a part of it part of the program now for 20 years, almost. I'm 31 now. I started when I was. Thank you. I'm 31 now. I'm 30 right now. I started when I was.
Thank you.
I was 12. So I'm approaching my 20th anniversary with the Bayonne Ability program. And I perform for them every year for the fire department as my way of paving it forward. And Brian and the fire department have helped me out tremendously at the Sunflower Adult Medical Daycare because what I want to do, what me and Mariana are doing. Hi Mariana, shout out to my boss.
Hi Mariana, yeah.
Shout out to my boss Mariana Miles. She's the best.
Absolutely, she's the real boss.
She's the best. I love her. What we were doing was we were trying to put Sunflower back on the map. And we had planned all these activities. We did Casino Day. We had programs for Veterans Day. We were doing a drive for Christmas, back to school. And I asked the Bayonne Fire Department for donations, the Bayonne Police Department for donations. They helped me out tremendously because they knew of what I was doing. And I wanted to show the center because they had community outreach. But they were reaching out to people out of the state, in New York or Pennsylvania or whatever. And we said, this is a Bayonne center. You should be reaching out to the Bayonne and Jersey City community because you have clients from Bayonne, Jersey City who attend the program.
Yes, it's a better idea.
Program. So that's what we've done. And I remember when they first brought the stuff in, everybody's asking me like, Ronald, who is that? Who's that? I said, calm down, down. Calm down,
everybody.
Calm yourself
Quiet,
down.
settle down. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Take it easy.
And
take it easy.
I don't want to talk about nobody about it, but some people are nosy.
Yes, they are.
And
I must tell you that.
Nosy, and I just said, you know what? I'm actually glad I did what I did. I have no regrets.
Good.
Regrets reaching out to the people that I knew. because let's face it, it's a team effort.
It is.
It's a team effort. You have to show what you can do. And I've done it at Sunflower, I've done it at Life, and now it's incredible to see what
Gotcha, Melissa. Yes.
what the future holds. So it's really incredible that I have these friends in high places. You know, I miss them every day. And Patty, I know you're watching this. I love you. You know that I've got your back, and I look forward to the day when I can take a picture with you again and perform for you guys. I'm looking forward to that day.
Yes.
Or maybe I'll do it on Instagram Live and just sing the song, and not even a pandemic can keep us together, keep us apart from tradition. So.
Absolutely.
And everyone at my program that I attended, Availability Day, kept asking me, when are we going back? And I mean, when you have a disability like they do, they're used to a routine. It was school, the program, and then back home. Now that the weather's changing, I have no place to go. And I applaud Pete Amadeo. Shout out to Pete Amadeo as well, who's in charge of the Band Rec program. That program, he is amazing at bringing the community together, and I love what he's doing when he does buddy baseball, you know, all the recreation leagues, because he knows that these kids need something to do outside of the side. So it's really incredible to be associated with the program like this.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. Okay, so what time you got there? 10 o'clock. At 10:05 or 10:06 now?
Yeah,
so we are getting there, yeah.
So I would like to, you asked me about my involvement with Special Olympics, but I want to take it a little bit further than that. So for those of you who don't know, my program, the Bayonne Ability Day Camp, has been involved with SONJ since its inception back in 1968.
Yeah.
68. Eunice Kennedy Shriver went to Bayonne to talk with Al Shalusky, who was the director of the Bayonne Ability Day Camp program at that time. The program's been around since, the Bayonne Ability Day Camp program has been around since 1962.
Yes.
In 62, so we've been around for nearly 60 years, if you could believe
wow.
that. And Special Olympics has been around for almost 55 years.
55 years, oh yeah.
Next year, a year and a half from now, we'll make the 55th anniversary.
Yes.
And for those of you who don't know about the history, she founded Special Olympics because her sister was, at the time they called it mentally retarded. And at that time, family members were ashamed of having a family member that's mentally retarded. Either they would be ashamed or they would have to hide them in the closet.
And it's wrong to call them that, and it's wrong to do that.
Yes, I agree.
That was sick, and I condemn that kind of treatment to people with autism and Asperger's.
So ever since then, my program's been involved with it ever since.
Oh, cool. Gotcha, Melissa. Yes. Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah, Melissa and I have a lot in common. Our brothers are. Our brothers have disabilities. Jessie has autism, and I think Joey has a little bit of autism too. I'm not sure. I have to double check with her. But you know, we both have that in common. And the fact is,
yes.
I don't know if she wants me to bring this up, so I'm not gonna bring it up out of respect for her.
Yes. Gotcha.
For her, but the biggest thing now that she's preparing for is the same thing I am, if my parents ever pass, we are left with taking care of our siblings.
Yes, absolutely. Melissa said, real quick going back, Melissa says you would like her dad because he works at Sunflower.
Yes.
And yeah, and that's right, you can, Melissa said. to the things you just said now.
Okay, so she just told me I didn't want to discuss it without her approval, so that's why I did that.
Gotcha.
So like I said, I've known Melissa for almost 20 years, 16 years now, and last year she, excuse me, her mother was going through cancer, and she recently lost her mother due to cancer. And the biggest transition that I was talking about is that she has to take care of her brother, Joey, little Joey.
Yes.
Little Joey. So, and the fact is that if we don't take care of them, who will? If we don't assume the responsibilities of taking care of our brothers with any disability, they're left to the state.
Indeed.
They're left to the state. So I have this conversation with her all the time, and you say, you know what? If we don't do it, who will? We don't have a choice. Don't have a choice. We're the oldest children. We have been prepared for this since we were young.
Yes.
We're young and everything. So this is, and I still pray for her to this day. And I know that her mom was her world. So I would feel the same way if I lost both of my parents. I feel like my whole world would be crashed with an instant. And you know the song "Us Against the World." Well, I would have to say if my parents ever passed, knock on wood if they don't.
Yeah.
I would feel that it would be me against the world.
Well, perhaps.
Against
the odds are what you can trample the odds.
Right.
With determination, with luck, with skill, with knowledge. It's more strategy than luck.
Absolutely. I also encourage everyone who's going through the same thing that Melissa's going through, that I will be preparing for, is find your resources.
Yes.
Get your resources, do your research, and find out, what can I do? If there are programs out there for me that could really help. So I think that would be,
And when you got a support system, talk to them, chat with them, see if you can help each other out,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be the most important thing. Thing is, we need that support system now more than ever before.
Well, yes, absolutely. Yeah.
But I will say that when my brother was first diagnosed with autism, my Aunt Delia told her, I think Jesse has autism. And my mother didn't believe it at the time. The Lord rest my Aunt Delia's soul, by the way. Let me point that out.
Oh, yes.
That out. And of course, Myra's, I miss her all the time. She's in my support system and my family.
Very good, yeah.
But the biggest thing that I have to ask, that I would say is, it's hard to explain to your relatives what autism is. Yes. I remember being around my cousins all the time on my father's side of the family.
Yes.
And they would keep asking me, Ronnie, how could Jesse talk? How come Jesse's not saying anything? Is Jesse retarded or something? At first I would be like snapping out on them, because I was always taught, if anybody messes with your brother, you gotta stick up for your brother.
Yes.
Not for your brother, that's your brother.
Yes.
That's your brother. But then I took a step back.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, okay, what do I do? Do I not say anything at all? Do I keep my mouth shut? It
was an awkward situation, I'm going to tell you right now.
It is. It really was.
I wouldn't have handled it well.
It really was an awkward...
shaken.
Yeah, it really was an awkward situation. The situation, but...
Yeah.
But I just said, he can talk, he has autism, but don't get me wrong, he can do just as good as his regular counterparts. And, we get to see our family, once or twice or three times a year. It's usually when there's the holiday time, when there's a death in the family, or a special event like a graduation, wedding, family reunion, etc., 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 etc.,
Yes.
etc., etc. But the first thing I would encourage a lot of the parents, and I've said this on my show, can I reiterate?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Reiterate?
Right ahead, yes.
The first thing I would tell all the parents watching out there is you don't blame yourself. There is nothing wrong with you. You brought this incredible child into this world who has been blessed with incredible gifts. And when my mother found out about Jesse's diagnosis, as I mentioned earlier, she kept blaming herself.
Wow.
Blaming herself. And at the time, there was no support groups at that time. And obviously the internet, because we didn't have computers. We didn't have the computers back in the day.
It was really growing. It's still growing today, but it was really growing.
It was growing back then too.
It was a gleam in an eye, just working.
Yeah, and so we had to do it the old-fashioned way by looking up through books and everything. So I encourage the parents, if your child has any disability, the first thing you do is you give them the unconditional love that they deserve, because they need that love. And the second thing, good thing is you find parents who are going through the same thing that you're going through.
Yes.
And just talk to them about it.
Oh yeah.
To them about it. And they can give you advice on how to handle your child's diagnosis. But it's nice to get the perspective of other parents. They're parents, but the reality is they didn't birth your child. You birthed your child. And you have to take care of your child the best way that you can take care of your child.
Oh yeah.
Take care of your child. And I think it's important that we need to remember that children with autism, anyone with autism, can achieve so many goals. A lot of my colleagues, when I did Special Olympics, they recognized me for my work, because I was called an inspiration. I'm still called an inspiration to them to this day. Because not that many people with disabilities can handle sitting in a college lecture for 2.5 hours.
Absolutely.
And do the schoolwork, get done, practice with the team, go back out there. It was very interesting. And the biggest thing I've learned, and hi Nora, shout out to her, she was my covering teacher, teacher when I did my student teaching. And she taught me the biggest lesson of all too, is that
absolutely
we do not know, and she said it, but I said it because I told it to her when I went to attend these workshops. They told me, you do not know if any of these children are getting love from these parents, because a lot of the parents are smokers, abusive alcoholics, anything like that.
Yes.
Thing like that. But she knew she was getting love from the parents, but I didn't know that. And she told me, you're not allowed to touch them sexually. I would give them hugs, and I wasn't supposed to. But I wanted to let her students know that I cared for them as well, because they were also helping me prepare for that transition into the field of education. And the biggest thing for me was, how do I earn the trust of the parents?
Yes.
Because my time with her students, she was teaching 3rd grade at the time, was short. I had them in the beginning of the semester, fall semester, I had them for 15 weeks.
Yes.
And then the spring semester, I got the approval again, but I had to do it for 12 weeks. The reason why was because of testing, and more testing and everything. But she told me, Ronald, when the state comes in, or Mr. Onion rather, when the state comes in, they need to see that you are an observer, because they don't want somebody else running her classroom. And she was right. And I said to her, you know what, I cannot tell you how to do your job. You took this profession up. I'm learning from you and from you, from this profession. And the teaching profession is not easy, as we all know. Yeah. And I think now we're being the teachers now are being tested with so much. And that's why I said, and I'll say it again, I've always said, the toughest job in the world is being a parent. But the second toughest job is being a teacher. Because now you have to come up with your own resources that nobody knew. Nobody knew that if we knew in 2016 that there was going to be a pandemic like this, we would have been prepared for it years ago instead of waiting for months. That's how I feel. That's how I feel about it.
Exactly.
That's how I feel about it. It's my perspective and my view, and that's how I believe in it.
Very good stuff. We're getting into. Oh yes. Well, it's 10:20. Jesse, yeah, he is sweet. Oh yeah, he's the best, Jesse.
Yes, my brother's really sweet. I love my family more than I did ever before, and I think it's really important for us to realize that time is very precious, and we don't have that much time of it left. And
yes, absolutely.
It left. And the extended family that I have from the vulnerability camp, I love this very much.
Yes, for sure.
With them very much, and I'm looking forward to the day when we could be with them. I can hold them again and talk to them. You know, I missed that conversation. One of my camp counselors, Alex, is going to be a part of the show I'm doing. I just started a show called The Conversation With, in which I'm having conversations with student athletes. I did one episode already. I just did one episode with Chris last night.
Yes.
Melissa, if you're interested, you're going to be next on the show. And basically we're going to be talking about the same topics that I talked with Chris about. But more importantly, I think the biggest role that we have is, you know, mentally, I'm preparing for if and when my parents ever pass away.
Yes.
Because, God forbid if they did, I gotta play 3 roles: mother, father, and brother.
Yes.
And I don't know how would I ever prepare for it. Let's be real, you know.
Exactly. It's hard. It's tough.
And I thank God that I do have family to help me. But the biggest lesson I've learned is that sometimes your family can't always be there for you.
Exactly.
And you have to rely on your.
I think it's unreal.
You have to rely on your own wit and your own determination. Yeah. So what I think, but the biggest lesson I will say in closing that 2020 has ever taught me is to appreciate the time that's in front of you.
Yes.
To appreciate what's in front of you.
Gotcha.
To treat each and every day as if it were your very last.
Yes.
Were your very last. And also to be thankful for what you have and for what you don't have.
Exactly.
Because the time that we have left is very precious. And we need to cherish it now more than ever before. And I think that's really important. And once again, I thank all of our first responders. I thank our servicemen and women, our veterans, our doctors and nurses, my family. I have nurses in my family, and military in my family, veterans in my family. But this is a really scary time forever for all of us. And let's just remember that there's light at the end of the tunnel, and there are better days ahead.
You got it, Ronald. There is light at the tunnel and better days ahead, I hope. I'm being peace and tranquil with myself, and I know Ronald is too. We both battle with it, the hate, that's in this world, in the sick society that we live in. But always know I'm trying to be peace and tranquil. And Ronald, you gave a good point there.
Thank you so much, and I thank all of you for watching, and I hope you all enjoyed your day. And just remember that you're all loved in one form or another.
Thank you so much for that. Did you have anything else you wanted to tell us, Ronald? Or?
Only thing I could say is just hang in there, stay strong. Stay strong. You know that you're all loved, and just remember that we're all in it together. I mean, by the time when Wednesday comes around, there's going to be a new administration, which we're all happy for. But we need to remember that it doesn't matter whether we come from red states or blue states, Democratic or Republican. What are we first? We are Americans first. And we need to remember that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. And that was something I've also learned from the riots this past week. And I want to take a minute to honor those we've lost during those riots, but also let us remember that let's trust our resources and learn and get the facts.
Well, yes. Yes, absolutely. And with that, I guess, did you have anything else, Ronald?
No, that was it. I look forward to seeing you all next time.
Thank you so much, and we'll see each other next time in a few weeks from now. I want to thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in and chatting with us. It was wonderful to chat with you. We might not agree on a lot of things or certain things, but we still unite as one.
Yes.
We still unite.
Absolutely.
And that goes for any of you. We might not agree. I have other friends I might not agree with, but as long as we do it civilly and gentlemen or ladily, we unite as one. That's all that makes a difference in the end, is we treat each other with the utmost respect. I'm Chris Benedict, thanking you all for tuning in. Take care, everybody.